If you've clicked on this, you're most probably planning a trip to Xi'an China, and if so, this is the only video you're gonna need to watch. Xi'an is perhaps best known for their terracotta warriors, but it is so much more than that. Did you know that it is one of the 4 great ancient capitals of China, and it was the starting point of the legendary Silk Road? It is a city that boasts over 3,000 years of history, making it one of the most interesting places to visit in China. I recently went to Xi'an China for the first time, and in this video, I'm going to be covering absolutely everything you need to know, from entry requirements, the best time to visit, where to stay, all the way to everything you need to see, eat, try, and do while you're in this wonderful city. Consider this your ultimate first-timer's guide to Xi'an China. And with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into it, shall we? Let's start with all the pre-travel considerations, kicking off with entry requirements. In terms of entry requirements, China offers its visa-free entry policies to citizens from over 43 countries, as you can see here, allowing stays for up to 30 days for tourism. Most of my wonderful subscribers are from the US and Australia, and so if you're a subscriber, you'll be glad to know that both of these countries are on the visa exemption list. I've also placed the link to the full list of visa exempted countries in my description box for your reference. If you are not on this list, you will need to apply for a visa, and so I've placed the visa application link as well in the description box. It's about 2 a.m. in the morning and I've just arrived at Xi'an, China. I have to say that the entry process was super straightforward. You basically go through one gate that kind of scans your face, then you kind of go through a second stage where they check your passport, and you also have to fill in an arrival card. If I can find an example of the example card, I'll put it here somewhere on the screen. But you basically fill it in and then you go on to the immigration officer, they clear you and you're in. Xi'an does go through the 4 seasons, so unsurprisingly the best times to visit are in spring, which goes from March to May, or in autumn, which goes from September to November, purely from a weather perspective. This holds true for basically any city, but especially in my opinion somewhere like Xi'an, because as you will see in the latter parts of this video, a lot of the places to see will be outdoors. That said, I went in May, and whilst the weather was perfect, there was a lot of people, and so if you dislike crowds, consider visiting during winter instead. In terms of where to stay, Xi'an has a really good transportation network, so basically anywhere near a subway station is a go. I ended up staying at the Hangguang Joy Hotel, which is about a 30-minute drive from the airport and around a 5-minute walk to the Sajin Chao station, which basically takes you to anywhere you want to go within the city. There are also plenty of food options around the accommodation, and it is also around a 5 to 10-minute subway ride to the Muslim food street. The room itself was decently sized and it was fairly comfortable to sleep in, but special shout out to the front desk staff who went above and beyond to make sure that my stay there was as memorable as can be. That leads quite nicely into this next section of the video where we talk about some of the apps that you need to have on your phone before your trip. A section I decided to include because I found a lot of the information that I found online to be a little bit outdated or didn't hold true in my experience. Like for example, did you know that you no longer need a VPN to access things such as Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram? So I took a cab from the airport to my accommodation. Grab and Uber does not work in China. Instead, download Didi, which is their equivalent. It is fairly straightforward to set up, so I won't walk you through that. Simply link one of the many available payment methods and you're good to go. And FYI, Didi is also available in English. What isn't though are the apps in this next section. A lot of the sources that I found online recommended that I download Baidu or Maps instead of Google Maps. However, neither of these apps are available in English, and so if you don't read the language, these apps are basically useless to you. I personally found that Apple Maps did a fantastic job, and so I would recommend you use that instead. You will also find putting in your destination in Chinese to be a lot more accurate in terms of using the map, and so I would also recommend having the destinations that you want to go to listed out in Chinese somewhere on your phone, like on notes, to copy and paste into the maps when you are navigating your way through the city. Those very same sources also recommended Baidu Translate to translate things like menus or street signs, but I found Google Translate to work just as well. One thing that still holds true to the information I found online is the usage of WeChat. It is by far the most important app that you will need to have on your phone. Yes, you're probably familiar with it as a messaging app. In fact, you will need to have WeChat on there if you plan to liaise with anyone local, like for example, a tour guide or your front desk concierge. However, it is so much more than that. You will also be using it to pay for absolutely everything in China, from small street vendors to public transport. You will need to link your debit or credit card within within WeChat to get WeChat Pay, and activate this mini program within WeChat to use it for public transport. I have learned so many interesting things about WeChat, in fact, that I plan to do an entirely separate video on this. So do let me know in the comment section if you would like for me to address some specific things, or if you have any questions about how to use WeChat in China, so that I can include it in that video. And now, with all of this pre-travel stuff out of the way, let's now talk about the places that you need to check out when you're in Xi'an, China. By the way, hey guys, it's Steve from the Fat Life Project. Welcome back to my channel that is full of travel guides just like this one that helps you navigate your way through cities around the world like a pro. And so if traveling is your vibe, definitely don't forget to subscribe so that we can go on more fat adventures together. And with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into it, shall we? Starting with the Huaqing Hot Springs that is over 3,000 years old and is located at the northern foot of Mount Li, just outside Xi'an. Back in the day, it was a popular retreat for emperors. It is surrounded by serene gardens, classical architecture, and steaming thermal pools. A visit to Huaqing Palace will also offer you a chance to soak your hands in mineral-rich waters that is said to bring many benefits to your health. But this next one is certainly a place you cannot miss in Xi'an. This is Emperor Qinshihuang's Mausoleum Site Museum, aka the Terracotta Army Museum. Discovered in 1974, this vast archaeological site is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, offering a powerful glimpse into the grandeur of the Qin Dynasty. Interesting trivia, the site is so big that it would take you over 66 days to completely cover every spot. The museum features over 8,000 life-size clay soldiers and horses buried to protect China's first emperor Qinshihuang in the afterlife. It was and remains one of the most iconic cultural treasures of China. Speaking of must-visit places, this is the Datang Everbright city, a vibrant cultural district that uniquely blends history, art, and entertainment. It stretches between the big wild goose pagoda to the Tang city wall ruins. This pedestrian-only avenue is lined with grand Tang-style architecture, interactive sculptures, and immersive art installations. Visitors can enjoy free nightly performances that includes traditional music, dance, and reenactments of Tang-era ceremonies. A highlight here is the spectacular musical fountain that is said to respond to sound. And whilst it is recommended that you head to the Datang Everbright city in the evening, you also need to come by in the morning to check out the big wild goose pagoda in the North Square, a sprawling public square featuring landscape gardens, cultural sculptures, and open spaces. And if you're familiar or a fan of the Monkey King and the associated Journey of the West story, you will also need to drop by Daci'en Temple, which is around the corner from where the Big Wild Goose Pagoda is, as a monk from this particular temple called Datang went on a pilgrimage to India and inspired the tale. The temple, as you can see, is beautifully preserved and tells the story of the priest through multiple carvings on the wall, as you can see here, honoring Datang's epic pilgrimage. The temple's atmosphere is also a striking contrast to the modern city just outside its gates. If you're a foodie though, the Yong food street is a must visit. It is the second largest food street in Xi'an and is where plenty of locals come to hang out. It is located near the Zhongshan gate of the ancient city wall and is done up to resemble a Tang Dynasty neighborhood, complete with traditional architecture and lively decorations. You'd be able to find basically any Xi'an cuisine that you can think of here. It was a warm night out when I was filming this, so I tried out their liang pi, aka cold noodles, which features some flat rice noodles mixed with some peanut sauce and mala style chili sauce. It was delicious. Though no trip to Xi'an is honestly complete until you've tried a youjiamo, aka Chinese hamburger, that features a warm pastry filled with freshly stewed beef. And guys, when I tell you, you are gonna be addicted to this. It was my first time and I can honestly see why it's so popular. Speaking of delicious, you also have to try some zhengao, aka a traditional Chinese steamed rice cake that is made from steamed glutinous rice and topped off with some crushed red dates, kidney beans, and honey. I literally inhaled this. Food aside, there's also plenty of cultural experiences here. May I especially recommend this bowl throwing ceremony, where you get a little cup filled with rice wine, you drink it, and then you throw to break that cup. This particular ritual is believed to bring good luck. Fang Food Street is the second largest food street in Xi'an, but Muslim Food Street is the largest. You can literally spend an entire day here and still would have barely scratched the surface of the places you can can eat at. The street is full of stalls offering an array of authentic local dishes that reflect the city's diverse cultural heritage. As you stroll through the lively lanes, the air is filled with aromas of sizzling skewers, freshly baked pastries, and sweet treats. The street is lined with numerous food stalls and eateries, each offering its own specialty. I had some biang biang noodles here. As you know, it is a Xi'an specialty that you cannot miss out on. And I also had some of these freshly made peanut and black sesame cookies, which were delicious. It is a popular spot for locals and tourists alike that come together to enjoy the rich tapestry of flavors and cultures that define this very city. Along on the list of places that you have to check out when you're in Xi'an is this next one. The Xi'an City Wall is one of the oldest and best preserved ancient city walls in China. It is so well preserved, in fact, that the watchtowers, gates, and battlements are all still intact, offering you a chance to walk along the original fortified barrier that was built back in the 14th century during the Ming Dynasty on the foundations of Tang era walls. It stretches for over 13 kilometers in a rectangular loop around the city center and stands at 12 meters high, giving you stunning panoramic views of both ancient rooftops and modern cityscapes. I mean, come on, just look at this. As you have seen so far, a lot of the places that I've recommended include a lot of walking, and so if you're looking for something a bit more chill to do in the evening, may I recommend the Tang Dynasty Show. It is an over-the-top show featuring choreographed dancing, singing, and some of the most elaborate costumes and stage sets I have ever seen. You can choose to do it as a dinner show or just watch the show on its own. It is absolutely amazing to see the amount of effort that has gone into this production that gives people like you and I who are not from China a solid understanding of the Tang Dynasty era history. This is only my second time in China, first as a content creator, and I have to say that I am thoroughly impressed. Like many of you, I only know Xi'an as the city where the terracotta warriors come from, but honestly, it is so much more than that. I see a city full of amazing food, amazing people who are enormously proud of their city's history. I am so impressed with Xi'an, in fact, that I've already made notes as to which cities I would like to see next in China. If this video has got you booking that trip to Xi'an, you may be interested to download my free Xi'an travel cheat sheet that contains the location pins and relevant booking links of all the places that I've mentioned in this video. I've also thrown in a little pre-travel checklist and some recommendations as to where to stay. You'll be able to find the download link for this free PDF in my description box. I do hope that you found this video of value and entertaining. If you have, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all the good things that you know are going to appease those holy YouTube algorithm gods, but much more importantly, will just make my day as a content creator. In particular, do feel free to comment, as I do love hearing from the people who take time to watch my content. And so if you got to this particular point of the video, I want to thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope that you have a fantastic day ahead, or that you've already had a good day. I will see you real soon in the next video. Ciao!